You ever check your blood pressure and feel that little jolt of fear when the number comes back higher than it should be? That tightness in your chest? The headaches that come out of nowhere? The way your doctor says, we'll just up your dosage like it's nothing, like your body is just supposed to be on pills forever. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. The pharmaceutical industry has zero interest in you ever getting off that medication. Zero. Because a patient on blood pressure pills for life is worth more than a patient who actually heals. But here's the thing nobody talks about. In the mountains of southern China, in small villages in Korea, in the hills of Vietnam, people have been keeping their blood pressure perfectly balanced for over 2,000 years using plants that grow right outside their doors. No prescriptions, no side effects, just knowledge that got buried the moment Western medicine decided pills were more profitable than prevention. 5 plants, that's it. 5 plants that have quietly been reversing hypertension for generations, while we were told the only answer was a pharmacy. Let me show you. Number 5, hawthorn berry, or as it's called in traditional Chinese medicine, shan. You've probably walked past hawthorn bushes 100 times in your life and had no idea what you were looking at. Small red berries, kind of tart, growing on these thorny shrubs that look like nothing special. That pressure in your head when you stand up too fast. The way your heart sometimes pounds for no reason when you're just sitting there watching TV. That feeling like your chest is too tight, like there's something heavy pressing down on you. Yeah, that's your cardiovascular system telling you it's exhausted. It's been working overtime for years and nobody's helping it. Turns out hawthorn does something really specific. It dilates the coronary arteries, which means it literally widens the pathways your blood travels through. When the pathway is wider, the pressure goes down. Simple physics. There was a German study, a pretty big one, that followed patients with mild hypertension for 16 weeks. The group taking hawthorn extract dropped their diastolic pressure significantly compared to placebo, and the compounds doing the work are called oligomeric proanthocyanidins. Don't worry about the name. They're basically powerful antioxidants that strengthen the heart muscle itself. Here's something most people don't know. In the Tang dynasty around the year 600, Chinese physicians were already prescribing hawthorn for what they called heart wind. That was their term for irregular heartbeat and chest tightness. They didn't have blood pressure cuffs. They didn't need them. They could feel it in the pulse. And there's a village in the Shandong province where hawthorn trees have been cultivated by the same families for over 40 generations. The elders there, people in their 90s, drink hawthorn tea every single morning. Their cardiologists, when they finally see one, are usually stunned by their numbers. How you use it is simple. Get dried hawthorn berries, real ones, not candy. About a tablespoon in a cup of hot water, let it steep for 15 minutes. Drink it twice a day, once in the morning and once in the late afternoon. If you prefer capsules, look for standardized extract, around 300 to 600 milligrams a day. Give it about 6 weeks before you really start seeing the numbers shift on your monitor. And honestly, hawthorn alone has saved a lot of people from a lifetime of medication. But the next plant on this list does something completely different. It doesn't just lower pressure, it rewires the way your body responds to stress in the first place. Number 4, eucommia bark, zhong in Chinese. This one comes from a tree that only grows naturally in central China, and the bark has been so valued for so long that during certain dynasties, it was reserved exclusively for the emperor. Regular people couldn't even buy it. You know that feeling when you're tired but wired at the same time? When your body is exhausted but your mind won't stop spinning, your shoulders are tight, and your blood pressure spikes the second anything stressful happens? That's adrenal fatigue paired with vascular tension, and it's one of the most overlooked causes of chronic hypertension in modern life. Your body is stuck in fight or flight, and nobody's teaching you how to get out. What eucommia does is fascinating. It contains compounds called lignins and iridoids that work directly on the smooth muscle of your blood vessels. They relax the vessel walls without dropping your pressure too far, too fast. That's the key. Most blood pressure medications are blunt instruments. Eucommia is more like a thermostat. It brings you back to baseline. There were studies done at universities in Japan and Korea that measured significant reductions in both systolic and diastolic pressure in subjects taking eucommia extract over 12 weeks. And it also gently supports kidney function, which matters because your kidneys and your blood pressure are tied together more than most people realize. There's a story I love about this one. The Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, written somewhere around 200 BC, mentions eucommia as a plant that strengthens the sinews and quiets the heart. That's ancient language for it makes you physically stronger and mentally calmer. Taoist monks in the Wudong Mountains used to drink eucommia tea daily as part of their longevity practice. Some of these monks lived past 100 doing martial arts every morning. Their pulse, when measured by visiting Western doctors in the 1940s, was described as impossibly slow and steady. Use it as a tea. Eucommia bark, the dried strips. About 5 grams in 500 milliliters of water. Simmer it gently for 20 to 30 minutes. It has a slightly woody, earthy taste, not unpleasant. Drink 1 cup in the morning. If you're using it as a tincture or capsule, follow the dosage on the package. But generally around 500 milligrams once or twice a day works well. This one builds you back up while it brings you down, if that makes sense. It's patient, it's deep, and it sets the stage for everything else you're doing for your heart. Number 3, and this is where the story really starts to get interesting, because the next plant doesn't just affect your blood pressure, it affects the very thing that controls your blood pressure from the inside out, the whole system that decides how tight your vessels stay all day long. Reishi mushroom, lingzhi, the mushroom of immortality. You've probably heard about it in the context of stress or sleep, but almost nobody talks about what it does to blood pressure. And what it does is honestly remarkable. Think about the last time you got really angry or really anxious, felt your face get hot, your pulse go up, that pounding behind your eyes. Now imagine living in a low-grade version of that all day, every day for years. That's what chronic hypertension feels like inside your body, even when you don't notice it consciously. Your nervous system is permanently stuck in attack mode, and your blood vessels are paying the price. Reishi works on something called the renin-angiotensin system. That's a cascade of hormones in your body that controls vessel constriction. When that system is overactive, your pressure stays high no matter what you do. Reishi contains triterpenes, specifically ganideric acids, that act almost like a natural ACE inhibitor. ACE inhibitors are one of the main classes of blood pressure drugs. The difference is, reishi works gently and supports your body instead of forcing it. Studies in Taiwan and mainland China have shown measurable reductions in both blood pressure and inflammation markers in patients using reishi extract daily for 2 to 3 months. If any of this is making sense to you, if you've been quietly suspecting that there's a better way than just taking another pill every morning for the rest of your life, you know what to do. I've got a lot more of this coming. There are entire categories of plants I haven't even touched yet that do things modern medicine still can't replicate. Anyway, the story behind reishi is wild. In ancient China, finding a wild reishi mushroom was considered such an auspicious event that people would carry it to the emperor as a gift. There are paintings going back 2,000 years showing immortals holding reishi in their hands. The Taoists believed it extended life, and now we know why. They weren't wrong. They just didn't have the vocabulary we have now. Use reishi as an extract. Look for one that specifies the percentage of triterpenes and polysaccharides on the label. That's how you know it's real. Around 1 to 1.5 grams of dual extracted powder per day mixed into warm water or tea. Take it in the evening because it also gently calms the nervous system and helps you sleep deeper. Better sleep, by the way, lowers blood pressure on its own. This is one of those plants that works on you slowly, and then one day you realize everything is different. Your morning readings are lower. You don't flinch when the cuff inflates. You feel like you again. Number 2, we're getting close to the top now, and the next one is probably the most underestimated plant on this entire list. It's so common that people walk right past it. Chrysanthemum flower, zhu. Yes, the same flower you see in gardens and bouquets everywhere. The dried version, the one used in traditional Chinese medicine, has been brewed into tea for blood pressure for at least 1,500 years. Maybe longer. The records are spotty before that. That throbbing in your temples, the headaches that come on in the late afternoon, the redness in your face that wasn't there 10 years ago, the way your eyes feel strained even when you're not doing much. All of those are signs of what TCM calls liver fire rising, which in modern terms basically means systemic inflammation and elevated pressure pushing upward in your body. It's incredibly common, and almost nobody connects the dots. Chrysanthemum contains flavonoids, particularly luteolin and apigenin, that have been shown to relax vascular smooth muscle and reduce inflammation in the endothelial lining of blood vessels. The endothelium is the thin layer inside your blood vessels that controls how flexible they are. When it gets inflamed, your vessels stiffen. When your vessels stiffen, your pressure goes up. Chrysanthemum directly soothes that lining. There was a clinical study published in a Chinese cardiology journal a few years ago where patients drinking 3 cups of chrysanthemum tea daily for 8 weeks saw their average systolic pressure drop by around 10 points. 10 points from a flower. In rural Zhejiang province, there are entire villages built around chrysanthemum cultivation. People there have been drinking chrysanthemum tea for as long as anyone can remember. The local elders, when they get sick at all, mostly get sick from old age, not from heart disease. The hypertension rates in those villages are dramatically lower than the national average, and researchers have been quietly documenting it for years. You won't hear about it on the news. To use it, get dried chrysanthemum flowers from a reputable Asian grocery or herb shop. Make sure they're the small white or yellow ones, not the ornamental kind from a flower shop. About 6 to 8 flowers in a cup of hot water, let it steep for 10 minutes. The taste is light, floral, slightly sweet on its own. You can add a tiny bit of honey if you want, though I'd skip it if you're really focused on blood pressure. Drink 2 to 3 cups throughout the day. It pairs beautifully with hawthorn, by the way. Many traditional formulas combine them. This one is so simple, so cheap, so available that it almost feels like a joke. But I've watched it change people's numbers in a matter of weeks, and it sets up the final plant on this list, which is the one I personally consider the king of all of them. Number 1, astragalus root, huang. If there is one plant that has carried the weight of Chinese herbal medicine on its back for 2,000 years, it's this one. It's the foundation of more cardiovascular formulas than I can count. Here's the thing about hypertension that nobody really explains to you. It's not just about pressure. It's about the strength and resilience of your heart muscle, the elasticity of your vessels, the health of your kidneys, the inflammation in your blood, and the energy your entire system has to regulate itself. When even one of those starts to fail, your pressure goes up. Most medications target one piece. Astragalus targets the whole picture. It's the difference between patching a leak and fixing the foundation. What astragalus does is almost hard to believe until you see the research. It contains compounds called astragalusides and cycloestragenols that strengthen the heart muscle directly, improve blood flow through the coronary arteries, reduce oxidative stress in the vascular system, and gently lower blood pressure through multiple pathways at once. It also protects the kidneys, which is huge because kidney function and blood pressure are inseparable. There have been dozens of clinical trials, particularly in China and increasingly in Europe, showing significant cardiovascular benefits in patients taking astragalus daily for 3 to 6 months. Some studies have even shown regeneration of damaged heart tissue. Regeneration, that word doesn't get used much in cardiology. The history of this plant goes back further than most. The Shen Ben Chao Jing, the oldest surviving Chinese herbal text, written around 200 AD but compiled from knowledge much older, lists astragalus among the highest grade of medicines. The superior herbs, they were called, plants that could be taken daily for life with no harm and only benefit. Emperors took it. Generals took it before battle. Mothers gave it to their children to build them up. There's a region in Inner Mongolia where wild astragalus still grows, and the locals there have an old saying that translates roughly to, "A man with astragalus in his cup will outlive his enemies." I always loved that one. Use astragalus as a decoction, which is just a long, slow simmer. Take about 10 to 15 grams of the dried sliced root, put it in about a liter of water, bring it to a boil, then turn it down and let it simmer gently for 45 minutes to an hour. Strain it. You'll have a beautiful golden liquid that tastes mildly sweet, almost like a light broth. Drink 1 cup in the morning and 1 in the early afternoon. You can also find it as a powdered extract or capsules, around 1 to 2 grams a day. Take it consistently for at least 3 months before you judge what it's doing. This is a plant that works in layers. It rebuilds you slowly, deeply, in ways you don't notice until one day your numbers are normal and you forgot what it felt like to worry about your heart. That's 5 plants that have been quietly keeping people healthy for longer than any pharmaceutical company has existed. They're not a miracle. They're not a shortcut. They're just what humans used before we forgot. If your blood pressure has been a problem, talk to a practitioner who actually knows this stuff. Listen to your body, and give these plants the time they need to work. Your heart has been waiting a long time for someone to take care of it the right way. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.